Good afternoon. We are having a great time talking to one another. So good to see everybody. So it's wonderful. Thank you most of all for coming. At this time, I would like to start our meeting, and we'll begin with our pledge, our four-way test, and our invocation. So if you are able, would you please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our four-way test: is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you so much. Cindy Kane will do our invocation.
Thank you, Linda. Fellow Rotarians and guests, good afternoon. May justice flow like a river reaching barren lands and sun-scorched deserts. Where people feel forgotten and hopeless, let the water of life comfort them. Where children lie abandoned or abused, let your water of life protect them. Where communities suffer at the hands of prejudice, let the water of life shield them. May we live lives inspired by service to be of service. Bless Mr. McGarrity and his work in service to the poor and needy. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Ms. Santel, would you like to introduce our guests, please?
Yeah, I'd like to welcome our speaker, Steven McGarrity, and his colleague Shirley, who are here from Community Legal Aid today. And then we have a guest of a Rotarian, a guest of Julie Brandel. We have Dee Lambert Faulkner from the Summit Metro Parks. Welcome.
It's so nice to have wonderful visitors, and our extension is please come back. We would love and enjoy to have you come back and have lunch for us. So put Tuesday at noon here at the church on your calendar. So please, again, come and return. So we're going to do, we've got, this is like the last hurrah for our Chili Open, and I can feel the excitement in the room. So we're going to keep it moving really, really fast here. Again, I just want to say welcome to the Rotary Club of Akron. And I'm beginning to do one of these, do you know? Do you know that Rotary is a global network of 1.4 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers who see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across our globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Solving real problems takes real commitment and a vision. For more than 110 years, Rotary's People of Action have used their passion, energy, intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. From literacy and peace to water and health, we are always working together to better our world. We stay committed to the very end. Again, welcome. I'm Linda Farkas, and I'm honored to be your 22-23 president of our club. Thank you also, and welcome to our friends online this afternoon. So, I'll ask, did we have any Rotary ambassadors over this past week? Anybody? John?
I had the pleasure to attend the Heights of Greater Cleveland Rotary Club, formerly the Shaker Heights Club. They were inducting new members, and we were talking about Paul Harris Fellows and Paul Harris Fellowship.
Thanks, John.
Hello, everyone. I'm President Linda.
Hi, Julie.
Linda and I are on a committee together, and mark your calendars. We're readying ourselves again. It is that time of year for our district conference. It's April 28th and 29th. It will be held at the Cleveland Marriott location for our district conference, and we're really excited about it. And so if you can just mark your calendar and attend some kind of session up there, that would be awesome to have club representation. Also, I am very pleased to announce that I have selected, and he has agreed, and so has his wife, to announce my vice governor for my district governor year, and that is John Reyes, PDG John Reyes. So thank you so much for agreeing, and so that's all for me.
All right. Connor, do you want to do happy dollars real quick?
Yes, I'll do happy dollars. Dave's going to go first, all right?
Julie, I was going to say, my joke's not funny anymore.
Were your jokes ever funny?
I was going to say, Julie, you spoke to Aaron without me knowing, but John, congrats. I do have 5 happy dollars. Part of it's because I have no change, so 5 it is. One thing, for those of you that do know and follow, my kids are both competitive swimmers, and they have the divisional champs coming up on Sunday. And for those of you that know anything about my kids being competitive swimmers, and mainly my son, his coach talked him into swimming the 500 because not a lot of 13-year-olds in the bracket that he's in swim the 500. So all he has to do is finish. And as long as he finishes, he's like 99% chance he's going to advance to the league championships, which are in March. So they're really strategic. So he's going to swim the 500 for the first time. So that's part of it. And then both kids are doing really well. But then more importantly, maybe not more importantly, again, I talked about my son and his music abilities. He was selected for the Ohio Music Association North District honors band. So Canton Middle School where he goes, and so just Canton alone did 8 students that they nominated for. Like, this is a full band, so every middle school in the area nominates kids, and he was one of 4 chosen for Canton. So we've got that coming up in a couple weeks as well. So I'm happy. Thank you, Dave. Hey, I was just going to say I've got 5 happy dollars as well too. Partly because I wanted to hold back 5 so I could give Jacinto a shout out. We have not had a more enthusiastic raffle ticket salesman. I never buy. I bought today, so I felt obligated. I didn't buy $10 worth, about 5, but I should throw that back in the box. So, all right.
Connor, maybe we should make it a permanent position for him.
Good job, Jacinto. I have a happy dollar. Just want to remind everybody, February 22nd, Wednesday, 4:30 to 6:30, going to be doing the Acton Food Bank. I will send out an email after our chili open this weekend for signups. It is also, just so you know, the 22nd is Wednesday. It's also Ash Wednesday, so I don't know if that is a factor in anybody's decision, but just want to let everybody know, and we can go out afterwards and have a nice vegetarian meal, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you, Dave. Anyone else happy? All right. John, up and then Judge after John. I've got 3 happy dollars. One is to, actually, one of these is to ask all of you to, at this point, make certain that Julie stays healthy and available for the next 18 months, because if she doesn't, I become governor again. And I've done it once, and that's plenty. Second happy dollar is we will have another active governor here now in less than 6 months. I'm also pleased with that because my name will no longer be the bottom one on the list.
Yeah.
That'll be nice. And the third one is welcome to our Metro Parks guest. As many of you know, we have a long history of Metro Parks directors being a member of the club. Glad to see you. Thank you very much. Judge.
So I'm happy today because as of tomorrow, I'm going to be the administrative judge for the entire court. So it's a huge responsibility, and one of the first things I want to do is I need a grant administrator. We're a court that has, out of 9 of us, out of 10 of us, 9 of us are running specialized dockets, and all of us have grant money, and we need someone who'll be able to track it for us. So if anybody has any ideas as to who we can hire as a grant administrator, that's probably going to be one of the first things I do.
Thank you, Judge. Cindy, yes.
I have a happy dollar since we mentioned the Metro Parks. I want to talk about our favorite Metro Parks guy, John Daly. I saw him again on Saturday, and he's doing remarkably well for his situation. He's struggling with his memory, but he's just as sweet and kind as ever. And just a cute story. He said to me, "Did I tell you I was out of Colgate?" And I said, "No, you didn't." So I got to go buy him Colgate. But if you know John, he's fastidious. He showed me his Colgate. It was the flattest tube of toothpaste you've ever seen in your life. God bless him. He's changed, but he's not changed.
Thank you, Cindy. Yes, Julie.
I have 2 happy dollars, but I wish I had 3 because this is for Shirley and Dee because they were leadership class 37 graduates with me. So they deserve their $2. But then Steve, he's already coming because he's the speaker, but he's also from our class 37. Oh, good. Now you won't fill up that, and I'll pay you $1 next time. Yes. So just these are classmates of mine from class 37. I was just so happy that they were all going to be here for Steve's presentation today.
All right. Yes, Jerry.
I have 10 happy dollars. My daughter, Virginia Corrigan, is about to be honored by the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, as one of under 40 graduates of the school who have done a whole lot and achieved great things in their profession.
Veterinary medicine. Jerry.
Shaboo. I have 5 happy dollars, and those happen to be for your team who has been working vigorously for the Chili Open. And I don't know how you guys do what you do, but let me just say this. Jim Redmond, how many years now? 33. 33 years. And for that kind of commitment, year in and year out, that takes commitment and sacrifice. And insanity. I would agree with that. But also Mella, Amanda, Cindy, Jeff, and missing anybody else. Angela. You guys are amazing, and thank you for all the work that you do on behalf of the kids, on behalf of the camp, on behalf of the club, and on behalf of the foundation. And let's not forget this wonderful Akron, Ohio community. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Chili Open himself.
It's almost like Steve just teed us up on that one. Thanks, Steve, for all those kind words for myself and everybody on the team. I've got 25 happy dollars, and you'll see why 25 is a special number. But first of all, I'm happy because we've got a guest today, Craig Phillips from Barrington Carpet. Craig's one of our community partners. Showed up today with about $3,000 of raffle tickets that he sold at his company in the last week. $10,000 sponsored by the Barrington Carpet Company. So his first time, he said, "Isn't that just for Rotarians?" I'm like, "No, come, you can be a guest. You can have fine food with us." So, Craig, thanks again. So, I've got some great news for everybody that came today. We don't have anybody virtual anymore. Jerry.
So, as Steve just said, this team, the club, we work really hard on the event, and I've been doing it for just a few years now. So, I'm going to look at Mella.
No, I didn't think my.
Because every time I have surprises for, and I think you've all heard that speech from Jimmy Galvano about the good days when you laugh, cry, and think. So, earlier this morning, I got an email that we got a $25,000 donation from a past fan that you know very well, who I reached out to several times. So, I'm looking at our sheet, shows that we're about 304,000 at this time last year, so that puts us at about 302,000 right now with that $25,000 gift. And we had some really special things happen last year that fell in line. And we've had a lot of setbacks this year. Some of our $5,000 sponsors for the first time ever went back to $3,000. We've had some other people, many in this room, step up. But when I got that this morning, I had my cry. I've had my laugh because Craig is here. And of course, I'll think a little bit, but I wanted to share the special moment with everybody in here because Dave Logston gave us $25,000 today. So.
That is awesome.
Dave has been our friend of the camp for 33 years now. Wayne Holmes was involved at the very beginning. We were just a corporate partner back at that time, and then they became a presenting sponsor about 20 years ago when Wendy's bagged out as our title sponsor. And we literally, Scott Stutler and I went right down the road and asked Dave Logston if he would take over as the title sponsor for the event. And Wayne Holmes has been in ever since. And then George Murphy is now the chairman, so Wayne Holmes has been the presenting sponsor. And so he's the ex-CEO of Wayne Holmes. Lives down in Red, and still has a home in Medina, but when I reached out to him, he was glad to help. So, good news, everybody. That's great news.
Thank you. Awesome. Oh, yeah, Laura, yeah.
So I think you should have gone last, but, well, I can't top that, but it's close because it involves Julie Brandel. She's going to be the speaker at the Eagle Dinner, and I am responsible for getting sponsors for each of the Eagles. This is March 19th, and so I'll circle back with everybody. So when I say Eagle, I say Eagle Scouts. And so I'm on the board of the Boy Scouts, and there is the annual Eagle Luncheon on March 19th, 1 o'clock out at Neo Yukon, and Julie is our speaker there, and anybody that can help as far as either sponsoring an Eagle or even coming with an Eagle, that would be wonderful. And so I'll probably bring a sign-up chart in about the middle of February. If anybody could help, I really appreciate it.
Kind of blending with the tree back there. Anyone else? All right, Jeff.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to talk real quick about Chili Open before I got to run, but Steve, you asked how does the team do it, and you just see how the team does it. Jim Redmond is just an amazing man, and 33 years of commitment. I call that 25,000 happy dollars. So Jimmy, thank you so much, man. What you do is unparalleled. Not taking anything away from Dan and Noah and Amanda and Cindy. But you're right, it's for the kids. We see it on the sign. It's for the kids. And, you know, I'm not really good at asking for money the way a lot of people are, and especially Jimmy, you are. And this keeps you up at night sometimes thinking about how we're going to get this money. Well, somehow it just always seems to happen. And it doesn't just seem to happen. It's because of a lot of hard work. And I'm honored to call everybody that I've worked with over the last couple of years friends. And I just am so happy that I got to work with everybody and will continue, but blessed that you guys are who you are for the children. It's an amazing amount of money that you raise every year, And I want to thank everybody for everything. Now, with that being said, we still need some volunteers. Jimmy, how we doing on volunteers? We need some?
That's Mella.
That's Noah. Noah, how we doing on volunteers?
We need bodies on Friday for setup, and we need bodies for all the various activities at the shelter.
Okay, so we need bodies Friday and Saturday. Early Friday morning to set up, Saturday all day for at least 8 hours, 9 hours.
So they can come work different shifts. There's the sign up genius that everybody received the link to, so sign up, you can keep on registration, right, Amanda?
Yeah.
And, you know,
Right.
different areas, so it doesn't have to be all day long, you can work your shifts, you can go golf, if you're golfing. I know the rear wagon's full.
That's usually the first thing that goes.
Door prizes, area is full, raffle tickets, I think we need a little bit of help with, registration's a big thing, and serving. People serving.
Okay, so servers, we need, and that's a good point about if you can work an hour or two, we need you.
Yeah, we need to.
So again, thank you to everybody. Thank you for all your commitment, your generosity, and please come out. How are we doing on the liquor, the wine and cart and all that? Everything, do we need more?
Oh, we need more.
Well, maybe, and we have plenty of wine, and maybe a little bit more of
The harder stuff, yeah, okay, the spirits, yeah, so. Again, and then last thing, we're lacking on the raffle tickets, so last minute push for raffle tickets, let's get out there, please. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jeff, I think that will do it for Happy Dollars, it was a Happy Day, 68 Happy Dollars collected, so.
Woo-hoo, thank you. And as Dan Reynolds always says, we gotta get her done, so let's get her done. Real quick, Sandy, would you like to say something about grandson, please? I'll be quick. Hello, everyone. President Linda asked me to give an update regarding the new grant that we will be working towards. And if you remember the annual meeting a few weeks ago, we announced that the grant committee was going to start receiving applications for grants. We've had one meeting. I want to thank the committee. That's me and Dan O'Connell are the chair and vice chair. Doug House-Connect, Doug Cole, Katie Miller, and Linda's also on that. So we've had one meeting, but lots of discussions. So please be thinking about community recipients who Rotary can work together with and partner. We're going to run this grant the same way that we run the district grant, which means we want to have Rotarian involvement. So this will be projects that we can not only give dollars from our foundation, but also have boots on the ground and actually make an impact working alongside of these community beneficiaries. So watch for, it's not quite wrapped up yet. The board of directors has to approve our plan, and they'll do that at their next meeting. But start thinking. It's not too early to start thinking, because the application process this year will be very accelerated. You'll only have about a month to get out there and look for a community need that Akron Rotary can partner with, where dollars and Rotarian service volunteer hours can make a difference in our community. Anything else?
About the February 7th meeting at the library?
Oh, the grant seminars, thank you. I did want to mention that. So shifting gears a tiny bit, the district also does a matching grant. And in order to qualify as a club, every club in our district needs to send at least 2 folks to the grant management seminars. They give you 3 opportunities. And also, if you just are interested in grants, especially the one that district does, or global grants or grants within the Akron community, it's a great learning tool. So there's 3 opportunities to attend: February 9th at the Akron Library, Saturday, February 11th, which is a Zoom, that's a virtual one, so easy to attend, or Saturday, February 25th at at 9:30 a.m. I know that so far from the Akron Club, Tom Knauer and I will be in attendance, and Linda. So anyone else, you can sign up via the district, but great learning opportunity. Thank you.
Sandy.
Thank you so much. Angie, do you have something real quick to say about the Chili Open, I believe? You need a mic? There you go.
Just really in addition to what's already been said, before the wonderful amount that Jim Redmond mentioned, we were at, if I can find my line here, a little over 30,000 sold towards our goal of 60,000. We do have a few more days. If anybody needs tickets, please let us know. And if anybody has anything to turn in today, please make sure you do so we can add that to the total. And please, one more time before the end of the week, share on social media. It really does help a great deal. Thank you all.
Thanks, Angie. Very good. Just quickly on your table, there's a info sheet. Over the weekend, our club runner had a little hiccup, and thanks to the people that reached out to me with either a phone call or an email, we had a phishing attempt on our club runner, and they used my name, but an incorrect email address. And it's a very old scam. It asks for, I need help. Will you help me? And the gift cards. I think you've heard it before, been there, done that. Buy 3 gift cards for $100 each.
Yeah, Linda, you want to just real quick explain something?
Yes, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, so really quick, I love Linda, but I got an email from her that says, hey, I just need your help real quick. I don't accept that from anybody because that help real quick could be something that is not quick help. So I said, what exactly do you need my help with real quick? And then the response was that email. So somebody happy with Linda, wanting me specifically to purchase 3 $100 Apple iTunes gift cards, send them to Pam, scratch off the code so that she can do it. She was going to reimburse me. It's a board decision to keep it quiet. I'm on the board, which made it funny. So, yeah, I just want to make sure if anybody else saw those, because it does look like a pretty legit email from Linda. But the reply back was some grammatical errors that did not make sense, and I know Linda wouldn't ask us to buy gift cards and do that. So, just if you haven't seen it, great. If you did see it, it's not from Linda.
Thanks, David. And Sento, thank you for your phone call, because he called me on my way home from Cleveland, ironically, and said, hey, how you doing? It was like, I'm fine. And it was like, did you call me? No, I'm on 271 coming down from Cleveland. I've been gone all day. And he said, well, I got this. You got a phone call? You got the email. So he was the first, and then Dave was the second, and a couple other people got it. So I apologize, but it was not me. On your table, again, we have information for sponsorships for the Rotary, for the Chili Open. We're looking for hosts for 23-24. We have 9 inbound students coming from foreign countries, and Terry Dalton needs help with the scholarship dinner, which will be in April. And Jerry, you're up, my friend.
Yes. So I've got about 7 or 8 people that have volunteered to assist in the planning of the event. I will get an email out to schedule a Zoom meeting for that.
Okay, Terry, thank you. I don't know if you heard it. Could you repeat it again, please?
I said I've got 6 or 7, maybe 8 Rotarians who have volunteered to assist in the planning of the event. So I will get an email out to schedule a Zoom meeting to help who is going to do what.
Oh. Okay, thank you, Terry. Okay, Jerry, it's all yours. Yeah, I know. Okay, next
Tuesday, we are at Boutique Hotel for our second off-site meeting of the year. We have 14 people registered, and I asked Cheryl to reopen registration through tonight at midnight. If you can make it, Tony Tropey will be talking about his visions for Akron. Be a nice lunch, a nice opportunity to just go someplace different and maybe think about going to Boutique yourself for dinner, which actually my mother and I will be doing tomorrow night. You can register online through the Aquatarian bulletin. Now, Steve McGarrity has served as the Executive Director of Community Legal Aid since 2017. He has over 25 years of legal experience with legal aid. He began with the organization as a staff attorney in Canton in 1997, focusing his practice on family law and consumer debt. In his time with legal aid, he has held various management positions, including 9 years as Associate Director, where he oversaw all client services, outreach, and technology. He has presented nationally on innovative approaches to delivering legal services using technology and on measuring the long-term impact of legal aid in the lives of individuals served. And much more in the resume, but right now I would also like to welcome the Director of Development, Shirley Smith, and Steve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Raise that up. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. A special thanks to my Leadership Akron folks and my favorite Rotarian. I will say she told me just before I started that she just heard a really dynamic speech by Dan Flowers, and so good luck. And so no promises. So really, thank you for coming. So Community Legal Aid, we're a nonprofit law firm, and we provide free civil legal services to low-income members of our community in the 8 counties we serve, which is Summit, Stark, Medina, Wayne, Portage, Trumbull, Mahoning, and Columbiana. And I always have to remember it in a different order depending on what county I'm speaking in. But before I talk about what we do, I want to talk for a few minutes about why we do it, and why the work of legal aid should really be the concern of every fair-minded citizen. I know it's a little cliche for a lawyer to start quoting the United States Constitution, but here we go. So the preamble states, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." Our founding fathers recognized that establishing justice is one of the fundamental purposes of our government. We are a nation governed by the rule of law. And what does that have to do with what legal aid does here in Akron, Ohio? It has everything to do with it. What does it mean to be governed by the rule of law? In part, it means we accept the decisions of the courts when they decide what the law means and how the law applies to the particular facts of a case, especially when we disagree with the outcome of that case. In our adversarial legal system, a system we inherited from England, we think the best way to get to the truth is for each party in a dispute to present their legal arguments and present the facts of the case as they see it to a neutral third party, a judge or a jury, who has no stake in the outcome of the case. And in this system, we rely on trained professionals, lawyers, to represent the interests of each side. But should the system rely on lawyers? I have a slight bias, but I think the answer is yes. Lawyers are trained on the rules of evidence, court procedures, legal research and writing, trial skills such as questioning witnesses, cross-examining witnesses, presenting evidence, objecting to evidence offered by the other side, etc. I have stood in court with survivors of domestic violence. I know how to present photographs of her bruises into evidence. I know how to present medical records from the hospital into evidence. I know how to cross-examine her abuser. I know how to do legal research on case law and write a motion to the court explaining why the abuser should not have access to guns. My clients, and most of you, no offense, would be unable to do these things. except in the simplest of cases. So whether someone's a tenant facing eviction, or the landlord evicting them, whether you're a consumer being sued for credit card debt, or the bank suing them for the debt, or a veteran trying to get VA benefits, or the government saying you don't qualify for those benefits, everybody is better off with a lawyer in these cases. And for most landlords, and certainly all banks and the government, they all have lawyers. It's the tenants, it's the consumers, it's the veterans who don't have access to lawyers. And they don't have access to lawyers because they can't afford them. And we at Legal Aid believe that your ability to access the justice system should not come with a price tag. We've all heard the phrase on TVs and in movies, when somebody's arrested, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. But this right to an attorney only applies in criminal cases. If you have a civil case, you have no right to an attorney. And when you don't have a lawyer, it can have devastating consequences for your case and for you. I'm going to tell you about a client of ours, Susan. She was in her 60s and a veteran. She served our country in the 1970s, was one of the first female enlisted members of the Army Airborne Division. And when you talk to her about her service, she speaks about it with pride, but she ran into some serious problems. She often felt isolated and ostracized by her fellow male soldiers. So when some of those soldiers invited her out one night, she was thrilled to be accepted by them. But later that night, after everyone had been drinking, 2 of the soldiers raped her. She reported the rape to her commanding officer, but in a sign of the times, the CO scolded her for going out drinking with the male soldiers, calling her promiscuous and telling her the whole thing was her fault. But she was devastated. She joined the military to serve our country and to make her parents proud, and she ended up in this nightmare with no sense of where to turn. And she eventually left the military and tried to get on with her life. But soon she began to experience the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. She would get a job and get along for a couple of years, and then experience these debilitating bouts of depression and lose her job. She often found herself homeless. And this cycle just repeated itself for decades. At final count, Susan says that she tried to take her own life 9 times. Now, as a veteran, Susan was entitled to disability benefits from the VA. But when she applied for those benefits, she was denied because there was no record of her rape in her military records, and she couldn't prove that her PTSD was related to her military service. She asked for help many times, and many times she was denied. And eventually a doctor at the VA, who knew that Legal Aid had a team dedicated to the unique legal needs of veterans, told Susan to reach out to us for help, and we gladly took on her case. And our team put together the facts of Susan's case and presented it to the VA, and after many, many years, the VA finally agreed that Susan's disability stemmed from the rape she suffered while serving her country, and she received her well-deserved veterans benefits. Now, Susan still suffers from PTSD, but she does take great comfort in knowing that her livelihood will never be at risk again. And she takes pride in being able to support herself. Her life was completely transformed by receiving these benefits. And to use her own words, I used to have to rely on the food bank, and now I'm giving money to the food bank. And Susan's story is just one of thousands of individuals in our community that Legal Aid has helped in the last 7 decades. But sometimes our advocates find problems bigger than any one person, problems where even if we were able to help somebody with their case, there's 50, 100, 1,000 other people behind them with the exact same problem. And in these situations, our help is focused on finding a broader solution to end the problem, not only for our client, but for everybody else who's afflicted by the same situation. This past year, we sued the Ohio Department of Taxation for double taxing Ohio workers. Our clients and thousands of other Ohio workers paid income taxes to Ohio, and Ohio pretended they never paid their taxes. And you think, how is that possible? Well, if a person has a job, their employer is required to withhold income taxes from the employee's paycheck. We all do this. The employer sends the federal income tax to the IRS and the state income tax to the Ohio Department of Taxation. Then the employer is required to provide a W-2 at the end of each year. But if the employer does not provide a W-2, which happens a lot for low-wage workers who work for small businesses who come in and out of existence, the employee still needs to know how much money their employer sent the federal and state governments. Well, for the federal government, it's really easy. They just fill out the tax return, and whatever they put on, the IRS will correct it and put in the right amount because they have the electronic records showing how much was deposited. But for Ohio taxes, the Ohio Department of Taxation instructs taxpayers to enter $0 on their return and pretends that no money was paid into them and will give them no credit. It's as if the Ohio Department of Taxation knows that it's how much the taxpayer's money it's sitting on, but if the taxpayer can't independently prove it, the Department of Taxation will just pretend it has none of the money. If a private company intentionally did this to customers, it would be a crime. If the state of Ohio does it to its citizens, it's perfectly acceptable. Now, in the lawsuit Community Legal Aid filed in the Supreme Court of Ohio, we asked the Ohio Department of Taxation, we asked the court to require the Department of Taxation to create policies and procedures to provide information on withholding amounts to taxpayers and to automatically track and credit that amount when taxpayers filed their returns or asked for the information from the department. But for several years before the lawsuit, we attempted to convince the Department of Taxation to do these, what we think are pretty basic things for our citizens. We hoped, we knew that in filing this lawsuit that the odds would be long because of certain procedural issues about the way the lawsuit was filed. But we hoped that when the absurdity of the current practice of the Department of Taxation was brought into public view, that they would agree that refusing to credit taxpayers for taxes paid was not appropriate. And unfortunately, we were proven wrong. The lawsuit was eventually dismissed, again on some procedural grounds, but it did result in some positive changes. Prior to the lawsuit, if a taxpayer contacted the Ohio Department of Taxation and asked for information about how much the employer withheld, the taxpayer was told that information was not available. Now the department will provide that information, but only when it's requested. Ohio now also requires all but the smallest of business owners to electronically upload W-2 information, which should enable Ohio to develop an automatic system for crediting taxpayers for income taxes withheld. But the Department of Taxation is not committed to doing this. The only sure remedy to fix both of the problems of providing withholding information and automatically crediting at this point is a statutory change by the Ohio General Assembly. And Susan's case and this Ohio tax case are just two examples of the more than 4,500 cases that legal aid helps with each year. We save the homes of families facing foreclosure and eviction. We help tenants in large housing complexes organize into tenant unions to use their collective voice to get property owners to make needed repairs. We help people get relief from crushing debt through bankruptcy. We help people resolve tax controversies with the IRS. We help survivors of violence get protection from their abusers. We help people with minor criminal backgrounds get those criminal records sealed so they can improve their employment opportunities. We help seniors with estate planning and advanced directives. We help lawful permanent residents get United States citizenship. We help disabled children get access to high quality education. We help fathers get visitation rights for their children and grandparents get custody of their grandkids when mom or dad can't care for them, and the list goes on. Our 70 staff members, including 38 attorneys in 4 offices, as well as over 200 volunteer attorneys, help clients throughout the 8 counties we serve. In 2022, we helped more than 320 veterans, 800 seniors, 1,200 disabled residents, and 1,200 victims of domestic violence. But it's important to understand that we cannot help everyone. While we helped over 4,500 families, we had over 16,000 requests for assistance. We simply don't have the resources to provide legal assistance to everybody who needs it. A national study conducted by the Legal Services Corporation in 2022 found that 92% of civil legal needs go unmet. 92%. Take all the work of all the legal aids in the entire country, all the self-help websites, all the law school clinics like the University of Akron that does amazing work, all the pro bono attorneys volunteering their time, all the help desks at all the courts in all the country, take all of that combined, we are only helping 8% of the need. We call this the justice gap. We live in a nation founded on the goal of establishing justice, but we deny access to justice 92% of the time. We don't dwell on what we can't do. We focus on how to grow our resources and our partnerships in the community so that we can close that justice gap. Here in Summit County, we have a number of unique partnerships that are designed to expand access to justice. We have a full-time attorney working at the I Promise School Family Resource Center. She resolves legal issues for I Promise families and removes barriers to children thriving at school because of issues that their parents might have. We partner with Project Rise at Akron Public Schools to provide holistic legal services to homeless families of children at APS. We have medical legal partnerships at Akron Children's Hospital and SUMA. Our attorneys train the doctors and nurses to identify legal issues that are barriers to health. For example, if a child has asthma, the medical professionals are trained to inquire about housing conditions, and if there's mold or some other hazard in the patient's rental home that contributes to that health condition, they refer the patient to legal aid, where we can then work with the patient and the landlord to get that matter addressed. This past April, we co-hosted the first ever Eviction Prevention Summit at the John S. Knight Center. Akron has the highest eviction rate in the state of Ohio. The summit brought together over 360 people for a day-long event, including judges, court personnel, elected officials, housing providers, community organizers, social service providers, United Way, foundations, landlords, tenants, and concerned citizens to try and develop solutions to this eviction crisis. In the summer of 2022, we released a report summarizing the recommendations coming out of the summit, and at the top of that list was right to counsel for low-income tenants. The city of Akron has already committed to launching a right to counsel program to provide legal representation to at least some low-income tenants in 2023, and we're eagerly awaiting the details on that. In 2023, we're happy to be launching a new project in partnership with United Way here to provide legal representation through United Way's Family Resource Centers located at several Akron public schools in furtherance of United Way's bold goals around education. We're grateful to our many local funders, including Akron Community Foundation, the GAR Foundation, Summit County Jobs and Family Services, the City of Akron, Summit County Public Health, Summit County Court of Common Pleas, United Way, our many individual donors, and more. It's through the help of these funders that, and our community partners and really an army of volunteer attorneys and our unbelievably talented staff of attorneys and support staff that we can transform the lives of our clients through legal advocacy. I would encourage all of you to stay informed on these important issues facing our community by subscribing to our weekly blog, Big Ideas. Each week, one of our staff members or a guest writer, maybe that'll be you someday, shares their perspective on an important topic and shares strategies that could bring about positive change. And you can find more information on subscribing in the little brochure that's in here, also with the world's largest magnet. And with that, I will say thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you today. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Steve. Very informative. We appreciate it. Thank you. Jerry, I know you got your thing. Go ahead.
We'd like to present to you the Rotary coin, which says Imagine, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions real quick? We have a couple of quick moments before we need to wrap. Hasita?
Could you speak a little bit about the relationship or interrelationship between the various legal aids for the different jurisdictions? Is it one firm? Is it just a confederation or
Sure.
just best practice sharing?
Sure. So United Way, so Community Legal Aid is a nonprofit that serves 8 counties here in Ohio. Every county in Ohio is covered by a nonprofit firm like Legal Aid. So the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland's to the north of us, and Southeast Ohio Legal Services, Tuscarawas County and south. And we are separate nonprofits, but we do work very closely together. So we meet regularly and exchange ideas about how to better serve clients in Ohio and work together on statewide issues. We have lots of statewide task forces that work together on many issues. A lot of our work with the Department of Taxation involve legal aid advocates from around the state. So we all work together, but we are separate law firms.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, Steve. Thank you. Put it back to you.
Steve, thank you so much for your informative, I don't want to call it a lecture. Presentation. Thank you, Julie. And Steve, Steve, thank you for taking care of our military families. I'm an Air Force wife and an Air Force mom. So I know how important it is to take care of our military families, because many times they do fall through the cracks because they do not know where to go for help. So sincerely appreciate it. So thanks again. In the center of your tables, Tom Knauer and Cheryl Warren. Tom, do you want to just give knowledge to those tents that I guess that are in the middle of the table? Come on.
It's not a time and it's being generously donated, somebody to sponsor technology that they have a meeting, and this is kind of what they get in terms of their sponsorship as well as advertising on the website. So thanks to Tom and Cheryl for all the work behind the scenes.
Right. So thank you, and it's a nice addition to the center of our table. Also on your table there are our pins for our theme this year. Feel free to take one, and don't forget, as Dan Reynolds said, get her done, because we're down to the wire. And Mela, I can't read what the thermometer says down here. What does it say?
The thermometer is changed. That said 275,870, I think. So now we add another 25 to that.
Plus 5,000 around. Plus Laura's back here. She's selling tickets right now.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm quite sure there's somebody in the room that has raffle tickets. So, and again, the prizes are right here on your table. So the raffle tickets are $20 a piece, and don't forget to get a raffle ticket. And then next week, remember, we're off-site. We will not be here. We'll be downtown Akron for a very exciting tour, right, Jerry? Very good. Okay, any other announcements before we do our raffle? All right, Vicento, it's all yours, sir.
All right, Steve, would you do the honors of select one? Yep, 229, 281. All right, come on. Come on. 281. Oh, all right. All right.
Connor, did you get it again? Who got it?
I got it.
You got it. Woo. Super. All right. Oh my gosh, Jim Rebbin.
That joker, bro.
I like that.
Come on, get that joker.
Okay, no further announcements. Meeting's adjourned. Have a safe afternoon. Thank you.